And then what you can do is you can shoot them through a piece of paper like we've got set up here, and you can look at the tear. And that's what we're going to do now. So Trey, you want to...
I'll just shoot all these arrows.
Yeah.
Let me shoot one of yours. Is it too weak?
Yeah, shoot yours. Right, so I'm going to get Trey to shoot an arrow through the paper. Now, yeah. You guys possibly can't see it from here. It's actually quite nice. It's got this blue stuff on the feathers, so you can probably see that. Okay. Now, what we got here is the... Now, here we go. Trey's got it. This here is where the arrow point went through. And the rest of the tear is high and slightly left.
You're not supposed to just kind of right up on the paper?
You need to be...
You need a bit of distance on it.
For the paradox to address.
Yeah. I mean,
compound bow you would be right next to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Compound you go right up close. And again, it's like bear shafting. One thing I didn't do on the bear shafting is, if we were doing the bear shafting properly, when I got Trey's arrows hitting straight, I'd have had him walk back a bit. And I say, I mean, with these bamboos, before I fletched them, I was shooting at 15 yards and getting nice straight arrows into the target. So you need to do this at a bit of distance, but don't start out miles away because it will go wrong. So what we've got here, yeah. Okay. So this here is an impact here that's come when the arrow's gone up. So I'm going to try to shoot at a different piece of the paper, and we'll look at some different tears, and then we'll talk about what they do.
My arrow.
I need a volunteer to come and stand. Just come here and stand. Okay. Right, so Trey's going to shoot another arrow. Yeah. You're going to have a purple arrow. Yeah. So here, way too weak. So here we've got the impact there, and the tear comes all the way over here. So we'll talk about those for a sec. This one here, this is a classic one because this tear is almost horizontal. Much like bear shafting, you're going to be looking at vertical and horizontal. And it means the same thing as it did in bear shafting. This here is more or less a vertical hit, and it's gone that way. So that means for that one there's probably something wrong with the brace height, although actually it's possibly just shot wrong in that one.
Or wrong spine shaft. You want me to shoot one of my arrows?
Yeah, shoot one of yours. There we go. There. Now see, that's how it should look. That's a good tear. This one over here has hit and it's gone over that way. That's a sign of an arrow that... I do it a different way. That's too stiff, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This here is too stiff because it shot off the fingers. So what has happened, it's come out of his bow and it's come out at that angle. There's where the point's gone, and as it's gone through, this is the hole made by the feathers.
This is too weak.
This is too weak because it's gone through like that. And that vertical bit, if he was consistently getting that vertical element, that would mean the brace, the knocking point, or possibly the brace height, but probably the knocking point is wrong. Okay? As it is, these two have both got nice, that is we're going to put down probably just to a mistake in that shot. This is what you're looking for. Now if you're a target archer and you're shooting a centre shot bow, you're going to end up basically with a bullet hole in there. But you're not going to get that with a horse bow. You're not going to get, to be honest, much better than what Trey has got there. I'm going to shoot one of my bamboos, mainly because I'm just interested to see how awful this looks. That'll do. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing you should be looking for when you do this. And you read a tear the same way that you read bear shafting. But paper is more sensitive to it.
For fun, why don't you shoot that with a thumb?
That was with a thumb.
Oh, that was thumb.
That was my thumb. I can shoot with my fingers. Now, I have a prediction, which is that this is going to wind up being too stiff. Because I find, for me personally, that even drawing to the same draw length, I get a cleaner release now with my thumb than with my fingers, and so I think I tend to find that it winds up being too stiff off the fingers, but I'll give it a go.
I think you draw it 2 inches shorter with the thumb.
I'm going to draw this back nice and long with my fingers and see what I can do.
Yep.
See, that's definitely that's come off that way, shooting off there. So that, yeah,
2 weeks.
that's actually come out 2 weeks. Yeah, you got to keep on doing this. You got to do it a few times just to make up for any differences.
That's too stiff.
That's too stiff.
But it could be a bad release.
Yeah.
So,
Try that same release again. Try to improve the release. Same distance.
Yeah.
and that's not a bad tear.
No. Actually, these are actually coming out all right. The next thing, with bare shafting, I get this a bit wrong. The other release I'm just going to try is what they call the Sassanid release, which is where it's on that side, drawing with the fingers and just supporting with that. Now this is probably going to go all kinds of wrong. It usually does, but yeah, see, it's a nice tear, but I was aiming here. But does everyone see what we mean, though? We're actually, it's ruined a bit by the fact we've now started shooting our own arrows and getting good tears. But well, what I'm going to try, actually, I'm actually going to try the Kasai, because we've been very mean about Kasai's bows. So I'm going to try shooting. I'm going to try shooting Kasai's bow and see. So our prediction for this would be that we say this bow is very slow, and therefore an arrow that's perfectly spined for my relatively quick bow should be too stiff for this bow. And so what I should see here, as I shoot off here, is I should see the hole there and a tear coming out that way. That's our prediction if I can shoot this thing properly. My problem is I'm too damn good. This is one of the things I have to live with.
3 pounds versus 50 pounds of your arrow.
Okay.
Let me try that with the thumb. There we go. That's how I drew that with my thumb the same way I draw mine. And that, it's actually, you can't see it.
So what shaft are you shooting there, Ken?
This is a 35-55 with 125 grain tip, full length. But it's still fine for your bow. No, 30. It's a little knock low.
Yeah.
Because it's kicking the knock up.
Yeah.
And so don't.
You can't.
But I can tell when I looked at it.
Yeah. That's why
And
when
when I
you,
looked at this, I realized it looks knock low.
yeah.
So if I take that same distance and move it knock
It
up,
has slid down.
okay, if I move it up a quarter inch, actually I get it clean.
Spine's slightly out, but it's nice and horizontal.
Exactly.
I mean, by the same.
Release.
Now see, that was knocked low though that you got. Now I'm going to deliberately shoot this knock high and see what we get.
Right through that.
Right through that previous hole.
We need more paper.
Yeah, we do.
What we can do,
Yeah.
if
See,
you guys want, we can watch the arrow fly.
see here you can see the tears high there.
So normally when you're shooting by yourself, you have someone sitting behind you, you see the arrow wobbling back and forth constantly. You know that your brace height. Sorry. Go ahead. You tell me.
No, you go. You go.
All
You're
right,
right.
so if you see the arrow, when you're looking behind and watching the flight, if you see the arrow wobbling back and forth, you know that your brace height is off. Your best bet is to tighten your string, shorten the string, and increase the brace. And normally that will straighten the left and right out. If you see the arrow porpoising in flight, you know your knock is off. Okay? Generally, the knock is off when it's too low. just like he said, you want to start perpendicular, go up about 1/4 inch or about 5 millimeters. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 5 millimeters and start there. And then if you still see porpoising, you generally want to slip to the up, raise it a little higher, and if it goes away, you're fixed. If it increases worse, then you go the opposite. You can watch,
Yeah.
Dan and I will take the time now if you guys are ready. Or unless you have any more questions, Dan can answer.
Those are things, most of us, I think, already have a set of arrows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Those are things you can do with the set we have.
Sure, but you can change tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me add one thing to that.
Uh-huh.
When you are picking out a spine, you know, that, like, I'm going to say a 150 versus a 250 spine, if we use a heritage arrow. Okay? You can get either arrow to shoot. Sometimes you might be better to go to a little stronger arrow, which is a little stiffer, if you can still spine it, versus go to the 150 in horseback archery, because you hit a lot of rocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so you can, I mean, you can get both of them to shoot, and you can get them both to spine. But if you can kind of stay in those parameters and get a little heavier or stronger arrow, you won't buy as many.
The other thing, like with my bow, with, you know, checking it each time, you're making sure.
Well, that's
playing
your-
that.
That's mainly just on a Saluki bow, but kind of have to almost put one crooked.
Any recurve, they call it bumping the limb.
Is it as critical though on others?
On a Martin recurve, it's the same thing. They tell you before hunting season, before you go out and shoot, you want to look at it, you want to pull it, and you want to see how it fits. And then you can do what they call bumping the limb to realign
And
it.
you're looking down. If you
Yeah,
can
but
kind of
he
look down.
looked at it like I did with it upside down, and you looked,
Okay.
looked
Well,
at it.
if you take a look at mine
See this?
right here, you kind of see. You'll see that this is kicked that way. I just kicked it over, right? You see it kicked over there. Now, if I kick it back,
Both ways work.
this is just how Lucas told me, and it's like it's his bow, so I'm going to do it his way. Now, if you look at it now, it's pretty straight. And if you don't, it'll slowly work over, and then that can also it causes excess fatigue, and then you can break your bow.
And bow failure.
And that sucks when you're in Korea.
So when you get, one of the things
Got
that
it right.
I noticed a lot with the folks that were horsemen before they were archers is that they're not as anal about how well their bows are tuned. And so when they get done with their bow for the day, they take the string off and pack it away. Now if I've just spent 20 minutes making sure that my brace height is perfect, that means I've got 20 minutes more work every day I string this bow. Why do I want to do that? A good tip to do is once you've got it braced and everything together, you can take a little dental floss and tie the bottom string on, or just leave the bottom string on. And when you unbrace your bow, leave the string on the bow. Now when I put it away, it's tuned for tomorrow. Now when I fly, it's tuned for tomorrow. And then if this was my bow, if I'm shooting with a glove, or if I have a rubber band or something along the way, when I put the bow away,